Our story starts inside the building of Chaoyang Group, where a salesperson named Lin Yi makes a scene as he resigns. Yu Lily, his self-righteous manager, packs his stuff up and throws him out with no contest. Lin Yi has always been a phenomenal worker, but that hag made his life hell just because he didn't play up to her with gifts. On the way out of the building, his girlfriend, Liu Cece, called out of the blue. Just a few minutes ago, he was fired from work, and now his girl is breaking up with him over the phone. She doesn't want to see his sorry ass anymore. When asked if she had someone else already, she did not even bother denying her two-timing, asserting that she won't waste her youth on a loser anymore. With no girl and no job, what could possibly stop this guy from committing suicide? Well, how about a fine woman welcoming him as the new owner of the all-career experience system, even getting the lady herself, Ling Wei, as his servant. This system would randomly give him a new job every week where he can get rewards for completing tasks. After a historic streak of massive L's, he's finally getting a lucky break. His first assignment is to work as a Baba driver. He'll get a gift of $1.5 million, a 100% stake in Peninsula Grand Hotel, and a Pagani Zonda worth $4.5 million. Even if he has to work as a driver for a lifetime to get these gifts, he would gladly do so. But every system assignment would only last a week. More jobs just mean more bonuses. First, he'll have to swing by the Peninsula Grand Hotel to properly take over the place. The key to his new Pagani is also good to go. As for the cash, it's already in his bank account, all $1.5 million. He reckons he's either dreaming or he really stumbled upon a broken system. His new car is parked in the zone where bosses park their vehicles, and he just happened to see Ji Qingyan, president of Chaoyang Group, having trouble with her ride. Ling Yi came over to ask if anything was wrong, and the president actually recognized him from the sales department. When asked if she wanted a ride instead of stressing over her broken car, she immediately took the offer up. That's when a blonde bastard butted in to insist upon taking the president to her destination with his comfortable sports car instead. She wasn't charmed by the perv though, she was appalled instead. Still, he kept on insisting on giving her a ride in his $300,000 car. Lin Yi proudly walked up and stared the blonde bastard down with confidence. The president snubbed Blondie and tagged along with Lin Yi. The bastard kept following them until everybody stopped in their tracks upon seeing one car that stood out among the lot. A Pagani worth $4.5 million is not something you see every day. When Lin Yi admitted that the ride was his, Blondie refused to believe. A single click of his key fob that unlocked the door was enough proof that he was not boasting emptily. Seeing as Lin Yi might actually be unbelievably rich, Blondie immediately tried cozying up to him. He responded by speeding out of that parking structure. Inside the car, the president can't believe that one of her supposed employees drives such a luxurious vehicle. Lin Yi claimed that he was from a wealthy family all along and just having fun with different jobs as his cover story. This week, he'll try being a Baba driver, and the president will be his first passenger. Ms. President gladly took him up on his offer and ordered a ride request in the Baba app. Once they arrived at the Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau, she paid the bill and happily exited his car. Ling Wei, the system servant, appeared to award him with $7.5 million and 50,000 proficiency points, pushing his career completion degree to 5%. His first Baba order just gave him a huge chunk of cash. Lin Yi's face might have ripped from how big he was smiling. The Peninsula Grand Hotel is a 5-star hotel and one of the top hotels in Zhonghai. That's what Liu Cece, Lin Yi's ex-girlfriend, said to convince his new boy toy named Yunjie to cough up 20 grand for a room. She's actually regretting not meeting the rich schmuck sooner. But her night was spoiled as soon as her ex-boyfriend entered the lobby. When he insulted the quality of the hotel to humble Liu Cece, Yunji was offended. The witch screamed for the guards to pick the loser out, and the whole hotel security team desperately scrambled into the room. Instead of apprehending Lin Yi, they paid their deepest respects to him. Lin Yi was supposed to be a penniless loser, right? Liu Cis was supremely confused. The head of security politely invited the new boss for a briefing regarding hotel operations. Cece was starting to realize that she might have missed out on the most enormous whale. In the meeting room, Lin Yi was presented with the hotel's financial statements. Overwhelmed by the stacks of paper, he just insisted that they continue operating like before he took over. While in the meeting, another employee was hurriedly interrupted by an emergency. A guest is threatening to complain about not getting the Mercedes-Benz she wanted to rent. Hearing this, Lin Yi decided to take a look at this problematic customer. He knocked at unit 1704, and a beautiful girl with green hair opened the door. Lin Yi introduced himself as the manager and promised to solve her problems. Miss Gu Jingshu was instantly enamored by his handsome face. Since the Benz is out of the options, he offered a ride with his Pagani instead. As much as she would like that, those types of sports cars are out of her league. That won't be a problem though. Lin Yi could just drive her wherever. She took a minute to dress up, and it resulted in some severe nosebleeds upon the sight of her figure through the shadows. Once Miss Gu Jingshu was done and dolled up, She looked irresistible in every angle. Back in the lobby, Cece has completely given up on his new boy toy in hopes of seducing Lin Yi one more time. Yunjie, the boy toy, just gnashed his teeth and advised that she should stop daydreaming. Even Cece's friend doubts that she can get Lin Yi back after tossing years of relationship out the window so suddenly. She swore that when she gets Lin Yi back, her friend can ride on the Pagani too. Then she saw that former loser walking down the lobby with the prettiest socialite rocking a killer figure. Cece tried to be cute and called Miss Jingshu a personal secretary while trying to worm herself back into Yi's good graces. That awful act just pissed him off. She tried to use her tears as a weapon to guilt him back in her arms, and that's when Miss Jingshu interrupted to help. She lied, implying that she had been far better in bed than Lin Yi's lousy ex. He quickly played the part of a passionate lover and held Miss Jingshu closer to praise her flexibility. After that, the fake lovers walked out of the lobby, leaving Cece speechless and shamed. Yi can finally roast her for being a narcissistic cheater undeserving of love. The verbal assault left her kneeling in the lobby, thoroughly depressed. Inside the Pagani, Miss Jingshu asked to be taken to Jingshu Grand Hotel for her classmate's wedding. Outside the Grand Hotel, some catty witches were watching the driveway to talk trash about Jingshu for being a broke liar. Well, when she came out of the multi-million-dollar sports car looking expensive as hell, those catty witches stopped running their mouths. Jingshu pretended to be Lin Yi's girlfriend and helped him out in the lobby. Now's the time to return the favor. All he had to do was show his face and be sweet in front of the catty witches. Back in the humble residential area where Lin Yi rented, the landlady started to boil in anger as Yi was 10 days late with his rent. Her daughter, Zhang Jingjing, was the only one holding her back from going sicko mode. Wu Jinlan, the landlady, asserted that her little girl had better not have any ideas about that salesman loser, as Jingjing was supposed to be a successful civil servant in the future. When Lin Yi swung by the landlady's place, he politely informed her that he would be moving out. Her response was a harsh reminder of his outstanding bill. He assured her that it would be handled immediately. His tab was only about $300, but he sent double that. Lin Yi insisted that the extra is an expression of his apologies for all the times that he was late in his payments. When asked about his new plans, he honestly replied that he would be working as a baba driver. Mrs. Landlady did not like that. She escorted him out of the premises with the eyes of a hawk. Once they arrived outside, the shiny Pagani in the driveway stood out. He opened the vehicle and kindly asked Jingjing to help put his stuff in the car. The landlady asked him where the money to buy this beast came from, and Yi told her his made-up rich family story. Jingjing noticed her mom's change of tone upon seeing how rich Yi was. Mrs. Landlady pinched her daughter in return while asserting that a man like Yi is way out of the league of ordinary people like them. Back in the Peninsula Grand Hotel, his staff kindly prepared the presidential suite for the new owner. After dining on the 5-star hotel food cooked by the best chefs, Yi felt satisfactorily full. A few minutes later, he received a ride request from the president of Chaoyang Group again. He picked him up, and the first thing he did was ask her to send the ride request from the app. Yi is currently on duty after all. Miss President liked that he's a grinder at heart. Yi was the company's sales champion, and after being fired, he's still taking his new career seriously. So, she planned to have the cause of his termination investigated. Lingwei suddenly popped out inside the car and immediately assured Yi that he was the only one who could see her. She just wanted to chime in and inform Yi that the system rated Miss President with a beauty score of 85 or more. This triggered a system mission to pick up 2 beauties with an 85 or more beauty score for 10,000 points of proficiency. But it's going to be a little difficult to find beauties on par or greater than President Ji Qingyan. For some reason, she found it comfortable to speak about her problems with Yi. Her company's about to hold a press conference, but all 5-star hotels in the city are fully booked. Smelling a business opportunity, he offered the idea of hosting the conference in his Peninsula Grand Hotel. Well, she doesn't mind spending more money, but a top hotel like that is undoubtedly booked too. He tried to be all cryptic and stuff, urging her to give it a try, and maybe they'll be surprised by the results. So, instead of home, they changed their destination to the Grand Hotel. She joked that if they can't make it, she won't pay the fine for that reckless illegal U-turn. But if they do make it, Miss President is open to the idea of providing a reward. When asked what he wanted for his reward, he proudly asked for her to do 10 deep squats. He also told her to start searching for the proper form for deep squats on her phone. Her people were turned down by the Peninsula when they contacted their offices, so it's not like he has anything to lose here. She might as well agree. With that, the president and the Baba driver entered a deal. Ji Qingyan introduced himself to the receptionist and asked to talk to manager Wang Tianlong. The receptionist played it cool, thinking that his boss must be pretending to be a broke boy in front of a beautiful girl again. Manager Wang politely welcomed Miss President, and she immediately got down to the business, asking if the hotel's auditorium was available. She thinks the answer would probably be no, but the big boss was literally orchestrating everything from behind. The conference will be in 10 days, and manager Wang could definitely make that work. Coming from the high of unexpectedly locking up such a great deal, Yi brought up the fulfillment of the deal they made earlier. Doing deep squats in front of him might be a little embarrassing, but as a businesswoman, she can't go back on her words now. He moved a little closer and started undoing Qingyan's seatbelt. Yi wanted to see the squats right away, but she firmly insisted that they do it in her house. Well, that shouldn't take long if he stepped on the gas to the max. He was just too eager to watch some squats. It did not take long for the two to reach the Yunshui villa, President Qingyan's home. Inside, she shyly asked him if he would like to see it now. Since he's in a hurry to deal with other things after this, Yi would prefer to see the squats quickly. She hasn't done anything like this before, and she's worried that she'll do it wrong. Still, she steeled her resolve and took a stance. President Ji Qingyan made one very impressive deep squat in her short dress and damn near showed Yi the forbidden clam. She squatted there on the floor while panting suspiciously. Suddenly, a middle-aged man entered the room with a grim and confused expression. What can Yi and the president even say to explain the situation? It turns out that the man was Qingyan's father. Her dad just saw her doing a deep squat in front of a young man. Dad was furious, to say the least. She tried to give an excuse that Lin Yi was just her new yoga instructor. But the man was no fool. He knew that instructors were supposed to teach, not watch. Qingyan stumbled and added that Yi was an advanced yoga instructor specializing in oral instruction. The dad sat down next to Yi, emanating a fearsome aura. He asked what the young man does, and Yi answered truthfully that he was a baba driver. Qingyan's dad was horrified. This shouldn't be the type of guy that his daughter should hang out with. But when Yi admitted that he drives the Pagani at the lot outside, he lightened up. Fortunately, Qingyan cleared up that they're not in a relationship or anything. But it was too late. The middle-aged man had already invited Yi to her grandpa's 80th birthday party. He even gave the two some space to continue what they were doing. Well, Qingyan is not in the mood to finish the rest of the deep squats now. There's been a misunderstanding, but that didn't bother Yi as he pounced on top of the lady. He wanted to continue where they left off. She was embarrassed by the misunderstanding, but her cheeks were flushed with excitement. Yi praised her form and taut figure. That was too much for the lady, and she pushed him off. He just continued praising her for utilizing her lower muscle group. He wasn't being pervy for once. Suddenly, he received an invitation text from his former co-workers wanting to throw him a farewell dinner. With that, he bid Miss President goodbye. At the restaurant, everybody was already sitting, just waiting for him. Wang Ying expressed her disappointment as Yi was up for promotion before he left the sales team. Some random curly-haired brat chimed in, boasting that his performance wasn't bad compared to Yi's. Wang Ying stood up for Yi though. Curly brat then tried to curry favor with a recently promoted senior. Lin Yi was starting to sense that he was invited not for a farewell, but so his former co-workers could show off. The senior stood up and asked if he was planning to go back home away from the big city, now that he was out of a job. To add another insult, the senior offered him a job as his personal security guard if he was strapped for cash. Yi was unfazed. These bastards are not even worth wasting time on. Suddenly, a restaurant staff member came in and ran to the private booth to ask who owned the Pagani downstairs. His former co-workers immediately went to the windows to thirst on the luxury car out front. Curly bastard tried to get another insult in. All Yi had to do was bust his keys out. The senior was the quickest to react and change his tone around Yi after finding out that he drives a multi-million-dollar car. He's been known as an orphan, and he's finally seeing how shallow the people around him are. Yi was pretty much done with this lame party, so he turns to Wang Ying and offered to drive her home. The senior was persistent and kept on trying to cozy up to Yi by holding his hand. He pulled back, anger starting to build up. Then, he got out of there with the beautiful host, riding onto the road in a luxury vehicle. Wang Ying was wowed by the experience, to say the least. The two of them worked together for so long, and she didn't clock him as a millionaire. He stuck with his inheritance story. While they were on the road, he also asked Wang Ying to book the ride request on the Baba app. She happily obliged and was pleased to support Yi's business. The system scanned Wang Ying and assigned her a beauty score of 84, one more point, and he would have gotten a bonus reward. Wang Ying's already a drop-dead gorgeous woman, but the system seems picky. So, Yi asked Wang Ying what a woman can do to increase her charm. She answered by taking something out of her purse. A black fishnet stocking. She slowly slid it from her legs up to her thighs. Wang Ying posed on the passenger seat, and she looked irresistible. When she started emphasizing her heavy globes, Yi hurriedly scanned her beauty score again. The system finally gave her that one more point, pushing Yi's completion degree to 15%. He also got a few houses on Juzhou homes as a reward. He hurriedly drove Wang Ying back to her home. After pulling up to the parking lot, she started hinting that her husband had been out on a business trip so they could come up to her house for a while. It's a shame that Yi is too busy managing his rewards. They can still do what they want to do when the husband is not home again. So, the former co-workers bade each other goodbye. Yai had a nice rest and headed over to the sales department of Juzhou Homes first thing in the morning. He strolled into the building looking like $1,000,000. The first person he saw was Zhang Mengyu, another ex-coworker. He told her that he just dropped in to get the certificate of ownership from the manager. Mengyu reacted horribly, chasing him out for being a delusional broke boy. The houses that this business sells cost at least 130 million. Thankfully, manager Wang Hui arrived in time, shoving Mengyu away. Wang Hui was sly. She immediately pulled Yi's arms close to her ample chest. She lovingly laid down the choices for Yi's properties, but his ex-coworker kept on ragging him for being a broke orphan. The manager put her down and fired Mengyu on the spot for badgering a valued customer. Mengyu tried to double down, but the manager declared that Mr. Lin Yi here had bought 9 of their prime houses. While Mengyu flops on the floor, shocked by the revelation, Yi is just pleased that the system is not sparing any expense when it comes to rewards. Wang Hui immediately snapped back to being a sultry manager as she apologized for the intrusion of a crazy employee. As for the paperwork, everything's already prepared neatly. Yi retrieved them and tossed the envelopes in the car. Wang Ying texted him with the news that the bastards from the farewell dinner party were terminated. So, he immediately asked the company's president about it. Jin Qingyan admitted that she fired the bastards as revenge on his behalf. She also wanted him to take over as the new head of sales, but he declined and referred Wang Ying instead. Also, the president's car is still in the shop, so she'll need a ride again. After the ride to Chaoyang Group, his completion degree jumped to 25%. Before Qingyan exited, he reminded her to give him a good review. Ever the shrewd businesswoman, she tried getting out of the 9 remaining squats for a single good review on the app. Yai quickly leaned over and told her to forget about the excellent review. Those 9 squats are more important for him than 5 stars on the app. He gladly unbuckled the seatbelt for her. On the way to the entrance, Wang Ying came across the flustered president. Yi cleared up the situation, saying that he just happened to get Ji Qingyan's ride order. Wang Ying was finally starting to see that there must be something between these two. Miss President urged Wang Ying to hurry up and enter the building. Once they got inside, Yi also received his positive review. The next ride order on the app is a pickup at Tianyi Homes. It shouldn't take long. As soon as he accepted the request, the client called him up. It was a lively lady asking him how old he was. When he said he was 24, she floated an odd favor, asking him to pretend to be her boyfriend in exchange for a positive review. That was an easy yes for Yi. He knocked at one of the Tianyi Homes units, and a pretty woman opened the door. Xinyu, a popular live streamer, was smitten by Lin Yi's sleek appearance. An older lady came into view, and Xinyu dragged him inside the house. It turns out that both of her parents are around. They are pleased with Yi's handsome looks and are curious as to what his job is. Ya answered truthfully. He's currently a Baba driver. Xinyu tried to salvage the situation, telling her parents that Yi was making a lot of money driving while saving up to open a business. The parents immediately made a complete turn in demeanor, insulting Yi for being a loser. Sensing that things are going horribly, Xinyu finally invited her parents out. She insisted on having this new boyfriend of hers drive her mom and dad. Yi apologized as his car could only fit 2 people. Hearing that made the whole family think that he must be talking about a motorcycle. Still, it was time to go, and they all headed for the parking lot, which was far from the building. The parents' disapproval of their daughter's dating taste was palpable. When Yi finally pressed the fob, the Pagani opened its fancy doors, shocking the entire family. Xinyu's eyes shone bright at the sight of luxury. Guy just coolly told her to come on in while settling in the driver's seat. Her parents were practically pushing Xinyu into Yi's lap by this point. Their destination is the Time Plaza Mall. On the way, Xinyu wanted to ask one more little favor. Since she's a streamer, she wants to go live in the car for a while. Yi was good with that as long as she does write him a positive review on the app. When Xinyu busted out her phone attached to a handle, her lively and loud streamer persona came out. The live chat immediately erupted with shock as she was inside a Pagani driven by a handsome dude. Some accused her of using her body to be in this situation. Xinyu remained professional and playful with the chat. But inside, she wouldn't mind doing a little extra service on the man next to her. After arriving at the Time Plaza, she fulfilled the end of her deal and gave Yi a perfect review. Ling Wei, the servant, spawned out of nowhere, giving him 200,000 points of proficiency. With 35% in career completion, he will be rewarded with a Zhonghai International Circuit and some top-class driving skills. Even he knew what Zhonghai was. It's the second best circuit in the world. But before that, he turned to Xinyu to get some help buying a new phone. Inside, the streamer led Yi to the Pear store. It's basically Apple, but that's copyrighted. Lin Yi just strolled in and pointed at the latest model, requesting max specs. Xinyu tried to stop him from doing so, as ordering online would be much cheaper. Yai casually caressed her hair and told her not to mind. The staff quickly wrapped his order up and suggested that he should get a phone case to protect his $1,500 phone. He refused to buy a case as he didn't like how it felt in his hands. So, instead of buying a case, he would do the richest flex instead. Lin Yi will buy multiple phones, so if one gets busted, he can easily swap it for another. He'd like to take 5 of each color. When asked if he was sure, he added another laptop on top of that. Xinyu in her stream just watched Yi spend a fortune on a ton of gadgets. The buzz of it all drove up viewership to 5 million, 5 times more than her regular size. Sensing the opportunity to make some killer content, she asked if he wanted to buy anything else. Well, Yi is itching to spend his astronomical wealth on some watch. His first stop was Constantin. The shop was oozing with class and luxury, but the managing staff was anything but classy. She saw Xinyu live streaming on her phone and deemed them as pests, pretending that they were rich. There are successful streamers, but they are extremely rare. Besides, this is Constantin Watches, a brand for millionaires. An ordinary streamer can't possibly afford their pricing. Unaware of the prejudice they were being subjected to, the duo continued browsing the catalog. Xinyu herself admits that each one of these watches costs as much as a down payment on a car or a house. Yi saw something he liked and requested a closer look at the product. The manager walked up with a smile and insisted that the watches could not be taken out unless bought. But that's a ridiculous rule. A sane customer wouldn't buy something so expensive without a closer look. Then, a bloated old man with an eye candy partner entered the store. He was sporting a gold chain and a pervy smile. Mr. Ling and Mrs. Ling seemed to be regulars at Constantin, and the manager hurriedly attended to them. Mrs. Lin was smitten by the gold watch on the stands. She fervently requested that piece for her birthday gift. This time, the manager gladly took the watch out of the stall and the box to give the clients a closer look. Xinyu was confused, and Yi was stunned by the blatant display of disrespect. The live chat is starting to fall off. He couldn't bear it. Yi walked up and asked the manager why they were being treated unfairly. She just half-heartedly explained that customers are separated and treated on different levels here. To put it bluntly, this store is run by a bunch of snobs. Xinyu tried to defuse the situation by accepting this unfair treatment. That they should be thankful to see the gallery of luxury. Lin Yi backed down and exited the store while Xinyu was still trying to calm him down. Little did they know, our boy has what's called fuck you money. He's bringing that to Patek Philippe. This time, they were politely welcomed by the attendant. Both he and Xinyu weren't too familiar with the brand, so they decided to ask for help from the live chat. People in chat kept on suggesting the 175th anniversary limited edition. The chat was actively goading Lin Yi to buy the damn thing. He was just amused and told Xinyu to let the trolls keep watching. He came up to the attendant and formally put in an order for the 175th anniversary limited edition Patek Philippe. Every staff member was both surprised and horrified. Yi pulled out his premium card with virtually unlimited funds and asked if there would be a problem. Every member of staff immediately put on their best smile and explained that the watch still needed to be shipped from abroad. Xinyu wasn't too enthused by this, but it couldn't be helped as there are only 6 pieces for sale in the world. News of a guy spending 1.5 million for a single watch quickly spread like wildfire. Even the horrible manager of the previous store ran into Patek Philippe to see what the fuss was all about. As soon as she saw Lin Yi, she knew how big of a fumble she just did. The manager had the nerve to come up to Yi to offer him their new arrivals after what she did and said earlier. Yi stared into her soul and refused on account of him being too poor to be served by her. This manager might never recover from the error of her ways. She slapped herself repeatedly for passing up on the opportunity to make a fortune on commissions. Outside Time Plaza, Yi slid one of his 20 new phones to Xinyu. It's his way of thanking her for hanging out with him for so long. She gladly accepted and also thanked him for such a fun day. As he drives off with his Pagani, Xinyu can't believe that good men still exist. Gentle, rich, and handsome. That's a package right there. Yi's next stop is his reward, the Zhonghai International Circuit. In the reception hall, he was declined entry as the circuit is closed for visitors today. He asserted that he was no visitor, just a guy with some business with the manager. The receptionist was obliged to call the manager right away. At the same time, the door was pushed open. Some rich boy named Qin Han and his cronies angrily entered upon seeing what looked like a visitor in the lobby. Another attendant apologized to Mr. Qin, assuring him that the gentleman would be escorted out promptly. I got curious as to who that arrogant brat was. The attendant explained that Qin Han is a figure not to be messed with in Zhonghai. In the manager's office, Zhou Haitao was giddy with joy. He would have picked up Lin Yi with a motorcade if he had the chance. That's because from now on, Lin Yi will be their boss after he bought the circuit. When faced with the paperwork, he just asked the manager to adhere to the same way the place has always been run. For now, it's time to see the circuit itself. He wants to run some laps on the track using his Pagani, but there were already some cars in the middle of running the circuit. After the lap, Qin Han angrily stormed to Fatty Joe, the manager, for bringing a random guy in when the whole circuit was booked. The manager explained that Lin Yi, the new CEO of Zhonghai International Circuit, was just here to inspect his property. Yi wants to run some laps, so he orders everyone to clear out, dismissing Qin Han with a refund. Han must have respected Yi's bluntness. No one dares to do this type of thing to him in this city. So he offered Yi a cigarette and a proposal for a race. Since Han has been dubbed as the god of race cars, he would gladly give Yi a 10-second head start. Han wanted to see just what kind of car this CEO drives, offering one of his in case they have a mismatch. Lin Yi had his Pagani brought around, and Han was stunned to silence. Still, Han was confident with his $3 million modified car. This should be an evenly matched duel. The field was set, and the racers were in place. As soon as the gorgeous racing flag girl gave the signal, tires screeched on the asphalt. Both racers took off unbelievably fast, but Lin Yi took the forefront right away. While Han slows down to enter the bend, the new CEO pushes forward without hesitation. Even a professional racing driver wouldn't dare to do that at a crazy speed. A slight mistake could lead to death. Thanks to the system's driving skill reward, maneuvering in tough spots has become a breeze for Yi. Han's racing friends could not believe their eyes. Lin Yi just smoked their best racer by a decent margin. The racing flag girl enthusiastically congratulated her new boss. Fortunately, Qin Han was not a sore loser. He knew when to admit that he was beaten fair and square. He embarrassingly asked if Yi had modified his Pagani, making it roar with speed for a split second. Yi just explained that Han started the race in the wrong way, going into excruciating analysis. Han took the criticism openly and asked for his contact details in case Yi needed anything at Zhonghai. Checking his phone, Yi just received a new ride request nearby. Now that his main job is calling, Yi leaves everything to manager Zhou and even lets Han and his friends continue playing the track for free. When asked what was so urgent to make him leave so soon, Yi honestly answered that he had just got a Baba order that needed attending. At Yunshui Villa, Yi pulled up to the massive house and promptly entered. President Ji Qingyan wasn't ready yet, and he was already inside. He stopped her from saying another word and let the Riz work its magic. She invited him to her home to play games or watch movies while she finished her preparation. He sat down in front of her laptop and saw an email notification. Curiosity got the best of him, and he took a peek at the email. It was an order update regarding one size 36E black lace underwear. After seeing that, he got even more curious. Afraid of letting him see what she had cooked up, Ji Qingyan ran out of the bathroom while still wet from head to toe. She blocked him away from her laptop, face flushed with embarrassment. Since her feet were still wet, she staggered and slipped. Thankfully, Lin Yi was there to catch her before falling, but he might have been a second too late. All he did was rip the towel out of her body as Miss President regained her balance. She might have prevented him from seeing her online underwear orders, but accidentally showed him the forbidden treasures instead. Lin Yi almost passed out from blood loss with his spurting nosebleed. Miss President was mortally embarrassed as she draped the towel over her naked body. He teased her, saying that she just saw a bunch of spam before she came running in like she's got something to hide. After shaking off the embarrassment, Ji Qingyan used a beautiful hair clip as the centerpiece of her outfit. She looked like a delectable pirate queen for a reunion she was going to tonight. Lin Yi's mind swiftly drifted to the possibility of seeing her perform deep squats in her dress. She caressed his chest and assured him that she would deliver. All he has to do is draw the curtains so they can have a little privacy. As soon as he did what she asked, Yi positioned himself on the luxurious couch. Ji Qingyan shot him a flirtatious glance and started on the exercise. She made sure not to have another wardrobe malfunction. She gave him the full view of the most perfect deep squat in the world. After fulfilling the promise, she was whimpering in fatigue. They should head to Zhonghai Club now, but Lin Yi has more pressing matters to fix in the bathroom first. Half an hour later, he got out of the bathroom energized and refreshed for some unknown reason. As they were exiting the house, the duo just happened to come across Qingyan's parents. They exchanged empty glances for a moment. Then, the dad smiled and asked if they were done with their activity. It turns out that they've been hanging out in the house for a while now, but they saw the curtains closed and didn't want to interrupt. Even Mom was fine with it. Grown-up people do grown-up things. She tried to clear up the misunderstanding, but her parents didn't believe a word she said. Now, even Qingyan's mom is giving Yi the invitation to Grandpa's birthday. He just politely accepted, feeling awkward as hell. Qingyan turned to him, her face red with shame as she requested to be driven away from the house as fast as possible. Upon arriving at the Zhonghai Club, Yi reminded Miss President to give him an excellent review. She's starting to get peeved that this guy seemingly only wants her for her excellent reviews. Well, Yi is just very serious about his career. Once she entered the club, Ling Wei appeared once again sporting a cheerleader costume, delivering 200,000 proficiency points for driving a total of 100 kilometers. Career completion was pushed to 55%, and he was rewarded with 21% of Baba's equity. He just completed a few orders, and now he owns the majority of the shares in Baba Company. Since Baba Ride-Hailing Company has a market value of over $50 billion, selling his stake would easily net him over $10 billion. But he knew that he didn't need to rock the boat. He could just get a few $100 million in dividends every year as the app takes off. Now that he's nearing career completion, he will be able to activate a new career at 90% and get more generous rewards at 100%. Hearing those words certainly lit an excited fire on his butt. The next pickup is at the Star Coffee and the Bund going to Juzhou Homes. Since it's on the way home, he can call it a day after finishing the order. The customer was a glimmering redhead named Xu Yang. Lin Yi skillfully pulled up to the curb to take his passenger. Xu Yang was really impressed. She's starting to think that she looks so good that rich boys are gravitating toward her. She excitedly got in the passenger seat and put on the seatbelt. She asked where he was taking her and warned him that she was not the type of girl who had casual affairs. Yai cleared up that he was just the Baba driver, and Xu Yang's real attitude surfaced. She felt deceived, thinking that she was being picked up by a rich guy only to meet a delusional Baba driver. On the road, she kept on telling him to slow down as she couldn't take good pictures, warning Yi not to scrape the high-end car. Lai kept on asserting that he owned the damn thing, but Xu Yang believed that he was just bluffing. She then told him to stop being delusional and just be a miserable driver. Yi has pride in what he does. He likes driving for billions of dollars. As for Xu Yang, she claimed that she has a decent career and that she's out of his league. Feeling disrespected, Yi slammed on the brakes and made the tires screech. The whiplash of the sudden stop tightened the seatbelt around Xu Yang's airbags. Yi has had enough. If she's really a big shot, then she could just get out and buy her own car and drive. For the first time since starting the gig, Lin Yi has demanded for the customer to get the hell out. Xu Yang was left on the curb, threatening to send a complaint to Baba's headquarters. First, she insults his profession, and now she wants to ruin his gig. The car records conversations, so false complaints won't work. Yi took off and left the witch. Once he arrived back home in Juzhou, he finally got pinged with his first bad review. Seeing his rating fall definitely bothered him. Then, the Baba regional agent started calling his phone. A furious agent started scolding him for maligning a customer. The offices are considering deducting his security deposit. When he stood his ground and refused to be treated with disrespect, the agent threatened to suspend his operating status. When he asked for a formal investigation, the agent finally terminated Yi's account and hung up. He was pissed, to say the least. Entering his new business, Lin Yi was welcomed by Mr. Zhou, the property manager. He was given a complete tour of the place, which featured all the expensive furniture. All the soft furnishings are designed by top international designers too. Guy tried sitting on one of the couches and confirmed that Mr. Zhou knows his way around pieces of furniture. There's also the matter of preliminary housekeepers waiting for an interview in the office. Upon arriving at the housekeeper meeting, a familiar face appeared. Xu Yang, the witch, was among the housekeeper candidates, and she still has that nasty attitude. Mr. Zhou yelled at the lady for being disrespectful to the boss. Judging by her attire, it seems like she's one of the interviewees. Xu Yang started deflecting and calling Yi a poor pleb lost in this exorbitant house. That's when Mr. Zhou finally had enough and slapped her across the face for being disrespectful to the owner of Juzhou Homes. But the stupid witch can't comprehend how a Baba driver could own such a prestigious business. When Yi asked if a driver couldn't buy villas, Mr. Zhou hurriedly cleared it up. Zhou strongly urged Xu Yang to apologize, and her head was finally starting to work. She dragged her collar down to her chest and gave her sincerest apology to the boss. Yi just doesn't like her atrocious breath and orders Xu Yang to be escorted out. The security team lifted her off the premises, and the housekeeper selection process continued, with just 4 candidates leaving. Yi assessed that none of these girls was good enough. They won't be selected, but will get $5,000 as reimbursement. Suddenly, Ji Qingyan shot him another pickup text. Since he has to run now, he left the housekeeping business to Mr. Zhou. At Zhonghai Club, it seems like Miss President was the belle of the ball. While she was having a conversation with an old friend, some dude named Ding Yi popped out of nowhere. Xingyan wasn't interested in staying any longer, as she had already called Lin Yi. Speaking of Lin Yi, the handsome devil casually strolled on the club's lobby looking for Qingyan. Her face lit up as soon as she spotted him. The opposite goes for that dude named Ding Yi. Her friend reckons that Lin Yi could probably debut on TV with a central role just on the merit of his good looks. Ding Yi felt salty, scoffing that there was no point in being handsome if he was just a Baba driver. When Yi tried to confront the dude, the bastard backed off. Ding Yi then turned to Miss President and whispered more insults directed at our boy. That's when she finally had enough and defended her man. But it's widely known that Ding Yi bought the top-of-the-line Mercedes-Benz G, a car that a Baba driver wouldn't be able to afford. Qing Yi just wanted to get out of there, so she apologized to Yi on behalf of her drunk friends. Infuriated, the drunks continued following the president and the driver on the parking structure. Ding Yi showed his Benz up close and personal, bragging that it cost him $300,000 for one of these bad boys. Xingyi brought up that Ding Yi can't stop talking about Pagani cars in college. Now, those cars are the real deal. Well, it just so happens that one is parked beside his Benz. Ding Yi was the first one to run up to the luxury vehicle. Lin Yi came up beside him and instructed the fool to get out of the way. To make Ding Yi move, he had to open the doors and call Miss President in. The two-party drunks were slack-jawed and shocked. Before taking off, Yi told them a valuable lesson: not to let poverty limit one's imagination. After an average day of slapping bad people with his wealth, Yi drove away with Miss President. She kept on apologizing for subjecting Yi to those snobs, but he didn't really care. Since she's had some drinks, she wanted to sober up on a beach. Yi also thinks that the beach in the middle of the night is a good call. The system then set another goal of 10 good reviews to get 100,000 proficiency points. After tonight's last ride, he would have 7. But for now, it's time to unwind on the white sand beach. While still in the car, Xingyi requested that he turn around as she wanted to take her stockings off and walk on the sand. He kept on teasing her about her panties, and it earned him a very severe pinch to the side. Now that he has been pinched to behave, Miss President can finally remove her stockings in peace. The two got out and immediately felt the cool breeze soothing their pains. Since her parents have been hounding Yi to come to her grandpa's birthday, she wanted to formally invite him as a pretend boyfriend. He's been getting a lot of these requests lately. Yi happily agreed to help for the sake of that deep squatting performance a while ago. Then, she noticed that the beachfront properties of Juzhou Homes had their lights on. Thanks to its exorbitant price, those properties have not been sold. So this is the first time that the lights are left on for the night. Hearing that, Yi had an idea. They can drive to those overpriced homes and stay the night. Qingyan just laughed at his idea, thinking he was just being funny. But the man was dead serious with his proposal. He's eager to take her there. At the front gate, she admitted to taking part in the bid for the land. But she didn't have enough cash and was eliminated from the first round of bids. He could see a hint of envious expression when she looked at the gates. One of the prized features of this land is the mineral water swimming pool. Since she was a little curious about the pool, Yi took her by the hand and offered to take her around the premises to see. She's content with just watching from the outside. She thinks getting kicked out would be too embarrassing. Yi asked what she would do if he just happened to be able to take her inside. Well, she promised to swim around in a bikini so he could feast his eyes. He would take that challenge any day of the week. He hurriedly got her back in the car, and they entered through the main gate where the compound staff had lined up. As soon as the Paigani entered, the staff bowed in respect. Qingyan wasn't expecting anything like this to happen. Meanwhile, Yi was just too amused by her shocked reactions. He pulled up to the side where tons of fruit-bearing trees could be seen. He wanted to get her some fresh fruits, but she felt too embarrassed to ask for one. She was doing a good job acting reserved up until she saw the ornate swimming pool from a distance. Now that she has seen the mineral water pool, isn't it time for her to fulfill her promise to Yi? The problem is that she can't fulfill her end of the bargain without a bikini. But she's not closing the door for something like that happening. She assured Yi that she was a woman of her word. Since it's too windy outside, she just wanted to go back now. But it would be easier to just enter one of the houses and take a look. Xingyan feels uncomfortable entering some grand home without permission from the owner, though. Yi assured her that there was no one inside, so there was nothing to be afraid of. He touched the biometric panel on the door, and it recognized his prints. Qingyan finally realized that Lin Yi owned everything, so he gave her full access to look around the place. Once again, Qingyan has been tricked into a very sexy dare, but she was way too enamored by the home's interior design to stay angry for long. It's a billion-dollar property after all. Thinking that she was being punked again, she asked if Yi had enough cash to buy the entirety of Juzhou Homes. He sat down and nonchalantly confirmed that he did just that. When asked where he got the astronomical wealth from, Lin Yi could not really get into the specifics. Now she understands why this guy just goes around driving clients with a luxury car. Since it was late, he wanted her to spend the night in one of the endless rooms he had, and she accepted. When asked if there were any women's pajamas on the premises, Yi teased her to just sleep naked, promising that he wouldn't peek. When she got flustered, he finally let up and instructed her to get some new pajamas in any of the rooms. The first thing Miss President did after picking a room was shower. Meanwhile, Yi was busy reading and waiting right outside. He heard a slamming noise and Qingyan's voice asking for him to come in. He was alarmed. A guest had just fallen inside his shower. As soon as he entered the bathroom, he saw the beautiful maiden sitting on the floor, wearing only a towel. She might have broken her foot and is in need of assistance. Yi gulped while thinking that this was the moment. He gently held her upright. Now, both of them are blushing under the hot shower. When they looked one another in the eyes, they both knew what was about to happen. They exchanged a passionate kiss under the gushing droplets from the shower head. He asked if the temperature was fine, and she responded by taking off her towel. Yi was given the invitation to finally explore Miss President's body with full access. After a few minutes, the shower wasn't the only thing gushing on the floor anymore. Let's just say that it was a long night for the two. The following day, they woke up to the tone of the chirping of the birds outside. Qingyan drew the curtains open to let some sunlight in. She seems livelier than usual, but she's nearly late for work right now. She wakes up the naked Lin Yi as he complains about serving her all night, only to serve her again right after waking up. Qingyan was pumped to go to work with renewed spirit. She even promised to give Yi a perfect review. The ride to the Peninsula Grand Hotel was fast and easy. He got her in just on time, and now he can finally get some breakfast before another day full of driving. He entered the Peninsula's highly rated restaurant. The waiter even offered to have the cooks whip up something special for him. But he didn't want to stand out, and the waiter obliged. Yi sat at one of the tables and called a waitress over. Much to his surprise, it was Yu Lily, his self-entitled former boss, that got him fired. Instead of feeling bad and apologizing, she had the guts to harbor ill will to Yi for getting her fired by snitching. Yi slammed the menu on the table and demanded to be treated with respect like a guest. Yu Lily refused to do so, only seeing him as a rich woman's boy toy. Another waitress warned Yu Lily not to argue with big shots, but she still sees him as her employee who has nothing going on aside from his good looks. Hearing all those insults and feeling the curious stares of the other guests, Yi just sighed. He smiled and asked another waitress to bring Wang Tianlong over. Yu Lily thinks that this loser must have heard the general manager's name on TV or something. This girl still hasn't learned her lesson, so Yi would gladly give her the crash course. Wang Tianlong hurried to the dining area, and Lily started talking trash about Yi, calling him a poor pleb causing trouble. But the general manager started fuming at the waitress, who couldn't even recognize the big boss. Even after hearing it from the manager's mouth, he just can't make sense of her employee owning the whole Peninsula Hotel. Wang Tianlong swore to blacklist Lily for causing trouble, so she won't be able to get another job. As she was being dragged away by the security team, she started begging for Lin Yi's forgiveness. The manager apologized to the big dog for disturbing his breakfast. Guy just reminded his manager to do a thorough background check for employees in the future. As he continued with his disrupted breakfast, an unknown number shot him a call. He picked up, and the voice on the other line introduced herself as the vice president of Baba Company. She would like to meet with the new major shareholder on behalf of the company whenever. Since he still has some work to do, he'll just call the VP back in the afternoon. She did not fight back and just politely agreed to work around Yi's schedule. Tian Yan, the VP, is a drop-dead gorgeous executive aided by her assistant, Yan. She also has a full schedule today, so Yan immediately called for a car using their product, the Baba app. With a belly full of good food, it's time for Lin Yi to get back to work. Coincidentally, the nearest client is also in the Peninsula Grand Hotel, so pickup should be easy. He waited out at the front gate and greeted Miss Tian with a big and charming smile. Even a vice president of a multi-billion-dollar company wasn't immune to his appeal. When he pointed to his car, his already good looks were amplified multiple times. The VP couldn't help but ask if he was really a Baba driver using a Pagani as a daily driver. He nonchalantly confirmed and invited Miss Tian to get in. Amused and a little excited, she got in and fastened her seatbelt. Miss Tian looked around the car's interior like a kid looking around a museum. She was impressed and intrigued by Yi's methods. Well, there are no rules when it comes to driving a sports car as a Baba driver, but Miss Tian gravely reminded him to act according to the rules unless he wanted to be suspended. She also admitted that she's the VP of the Baba Company. Thinking that she was bluffing, Yi also admitted that he's a shareholder of Baba. Eager to prove that she wasn't lying, VP Tian even showed him her work ID. Now the freaky coincidence is dawning on Yi as he seriously admits that he bought 21% of Baba's shares yesterday. And the two of them just spoke on the phone earlier. VP immediately started flailing and apologizing if she ever offended the new boss. She still wants to have a proper meeting, but Yi is working on a strict schedule. He must complete a few more orders first. After pulling up to Miss Tian's destination, she flashed a smile and urged him to give her a call when convenient. Just as she was about to settle payment on the app, it gave her an error. It turns out that the regional Baba office has finalized his suspension after violating the platform's rules. The whole process was handled by Jalis Corporation Limited, and he just so happened to be parked in the corporation's lot. Miss Tian explained that Gialis is Baba's operator in the coastal areas. She was pissed to see that Gialis is offending the majority shareholder of the company they work under. The VP assured him that she would deal with this matter accordingly. She would even go as far as suspending their agency rights, but that would just be boring. So Yi wanted to tag along inside. Entering the conference room with a bang, everyone's attention turned to Lin Yi and VP Tian. He introduced himself to the executives and brought up the case of his suspended certificate. Lu Wenda, CEO of Gialis, angrily called Luo Yuanfa, manager of operations, to deal with this nuisance. Luo Yuanfa furiously turned to Lin Yi and started berating him for being an arrogant prick, threatening to call security on him. But Yi remained unfazed and just took a seat at the head of the table. He then tasked Miss Tian to handle these bastards in his conference room. She immediately demonstrated why she became a vice president for a massive corporation as she cooks the entire Gialis crew. On behalf of Baba, she formally pulled their agency rights with no room for discussion. The dumbass, shiny forehead CEO of the subsidiary company failed to recognize the VP of his parent company. She slammed her work ID on the conference table for everyone to see, and all colors drained from the men's faces. Forehead CEO turned to his manager of operations for an explanation. Luo Yamfa asserted that Lin Yi was suspended for insulting a customer and sullying the brand's name. That doesn't matter when Yi owns 21% of Baba's shares, being the second largest shareholder of the company. Miss Tian doesn't care if he insulted a customer or anything like that. Gialis was already in the hole, and they just continued digging themselves deeper. VP Tian explained that Mr. Lin was just learning about the business, but got his certificate suspended instead. Now that Gialis has lost their agency rights, the CEO turned to his manager of operations to make things right with Mr. Lin or face the consequences. The guy who was screaming to his face just a moment ago is now kneeling and pleading for forgiveness. Lin Yi kicked the man down mercilessly. Based on the man's demeanor and how he handled Yi's case, he must have bullied many people over the years. As a major shareholder of Baba, he proudly backed Miss Tian's decision. Ji Xingyan called his phone just in time to make an exit, delegating the rest of the dirty work to VP Tian. It turns out that Grandpa Ji's birthday is tomorrow, and Miss President wants to buy some clothes for both of them. Yi would gladly pick her up for some shopping action tonight. Also, he can't go to a birthday party empty-handed. Maybe the old man likes antiques, paintings, or calligraphy works. VP Tian was fast and ruthless in settling the Jialis bunch. She even reinstated Yi's driver status and bumped him up to have the highest privileges. From now on, his Baba app will have more functions, giving him free rein when it comes to customers. That feature would be a massive help to accelerate his experience. While the sophisticated VP is still here, he also asks her for a place to buy some good old people. She floated the idea of Zhangdaqian paintings, and Yi almost staggered to the floor. It turns out that she has access to some high-end art. Lin Yi would gladly pay for one, but she refused to accept cash from her big boss. The painting will be delivered to the Peninsula Grand Hotel, but Yi does not like being in debt to anyone for anything. He would gladly pay 1% of his Baba shares in exchange for the painting. That should be about $80 million in cash. That's more than generous, but now he has to go. Before leaving, he instructed Miss Tian to just run the company the same as before. She almost forgot to send him an invitation to meet the president of the company in Yang City. He agreed to the invitation, but he'll set the date. Going back to Yang City is a little complicated for him. He grew up in an orphanage in that place. On the way to Ji Qingyan's building, he got another positive review, but only one more, and it will be mission complete. Looking at the app, he managed to pick up a ride order to his destination. He's about to pick up young Tianxin from Wanda Plaza. She's on her phone with a guy, bragging about all the underwear she bought. Guy pulled up, and as usual, the customer was shocked to see a luxury car picking her up. He just smiled and informed her that he'd be her Baba driver for the day. Young Tianxin praised the Baba company for doing such a unique marketing strategy. When Yi insisted that he owned the car, another lady started talking trash and calling him delusional again. He has no time to argue with arrogant customers anymore. The mission is more important than fighting. On the road, young Tianxin started freaking out as she looked at the unfamiliar route he was taking. That's when she erupted in anger when Yi just wanted to take a shortcut to get to the hotel that he owned. The moment this lady stepped into his car, the first thing he noticed was the bag of lingerie sets she was carrying. He's starting to think that he got a pro in his passenger seat. Just like Lin Yi claimed, they arrived at the side entrance of the hotel quicker than what's indicated on the map. This also made young Tianxin's entry a lot more discreet. This just confirmed that there is something shady going on with this lady inside his hotel. To make matters worse, he received another bad review. That Yang Tianxin is just a mean person to the bone. It looks like his good review luck is starting to run out. At least the workday is over, and he can pick up Qingyan now. They arrived at Time Plaza. He carried her bags going into the building proper, while pestering Miss President for another one of her excellent reviews. She insisted that her review for tonight would depend upon his performance. But he knew that she was just saying that to make him work harder. Inside Time Plaza, Qingyan's eyes shimmered at the sight of her favorite swimsuit shops. Guy whispered that she must be shopping for a swimsuit to fulfill her promise to him. She still feels tricked by how that dare turned out, but it's part of the allure. He insisted that he never forced her to do anything. She's the one who always agrees to bet and dare. The attendant welcomed them into the store, offering to help. After going around the shop a few times, Qingyan still hadn't chosen anything to purchase. She was feeling bad as she couldn't seem to pick anything among the shop's selections. When asked why she's acting oddly, Miss President insisted that she doesn't want a swimsuit anymore and Yi should just buy one for himself. Yi panicked and offered to help her select from all kinds of styles. She then whispered the real reason why she was embarrassed. It's not because of the styles, it's because the shop doesn't have her size. The attendant listed that they have sizes A, B, C, and D in stock. However, when it comes to Ji Qingyan's ample figure, they would need at least an E-sized swimsuit to cover what needs to be covered appropriately. Ye doesn't think it's a big deal. They can just check the brand store next door. Entering this hall full of high-class swimsuits, Lin Yi must feel like he just discovered heaven. He was smitten by the green-haired lingerie model poster in the middle of the store. Qingyan had a hard time dragging him away from the display. When they finally got the chance to check the wares in the store, the attendant gladly showed them their latest bikinis. Her gaze floated on the daring black bikini, but she opted to pick a cutesy one instead. Lin Yi was brutally honest in saying that she should get something that shows off her irresistible shape. What she needs is the one that attracts her gaze right from the get-go. The black bikini that can hug her curves. Ji Qingyan blushed and felt embarrassed by such a daring suggestion. At the end of the day, she caved and bought the black bikini in an E-cup size. Much to her surprise, Lin Yi also had the cutesy, wholesome swimsuit wrapped up. Qingyan was confused. Yi disapproved of that one just earlier. Well, he just wanted Qingyan to be comfortable so she could wear the wholesome one when she goes out and wear the black one when it's only the two of them. After swimsuit shopping, Miss President wanted to go up to the 4th floor to check out some custom dresses. She found a blue and purple one that she wanted to try on. While doing so, Lin Yi just sat and chilled outside the fitting room. Then, she peeked out and softly called him inside. He slyly asked if it would be appropriate for him to do so, and Qingyan's blush got even redder. She just needed some help zipping her dress up. She presented her silky smooth skin to him, waiting for the zipper to come up. Wei was smitten by her figure. There was supposed to be a shawl covering her back, but he could see her in just the provocative dress. Seeing her airbags in the dress, Lin Yi estimated that they should have bought F-cup swimsuits instead. Once she was zipped up, Ji Qingyan glowed with confidence. She liked how Yi reacted to seeing her in it, so she would gladly take the dress. The attendant agreed that the fit was immaculate. But another pair of customers just arrived, and the girl started bugging an old man named Zhang for the gorgeous dress that Qingyan was wearing. When Mr. Zhang asked for a dress of the same style, the attendant apologized as they only made one of every custom-made style. Pissed off, Zhang demanded the dress, even if they had to take it off from the customers that arrived first. He reckons that those two youngsters couldn't even afford it. Hearing that grating sound calling her poor pissed Miss President off. The gold digger slithering on the arms of the old man scoffed that the $13,000 price tag is a steep sum for broke people. Qingyan proudly asserted that 13 grand is just a paltry sum for her. She can buy the thing herself, but the gold digger is going to need another man's pocket to do the same. Mr. Zhang proclaimed that he'd add another 3,000 to the price tag to get the dress, but that was against store policy. That's when Lin Yi stepped up and offered an additional 30,000 and insulted the gold digger's flat chest, wasting the appeal of the dress. When the attendant presented the idea of making a custom dress, Mr. Zhang's intensity died down. With those extras taken care of, Qingyan thanked Yi for yet another fun night. She also picked out a few suits for him to wear. The store attendants and Miss President herself were speechless at the sight of Yi trying out perfectly fitted suits. Qingyan hastened their testing as she knew that if Yi tried on more suits, the girls in the store would probably jump his bones on the spot. With their outfits picked out, it's time to pay up and head home. Back in the place where they shared their first night together, Lin Yi relaxed outdoors, only for his heart to start pumping like crazy at the sight of Ji Qingyan in her seductive black swimsuit. While he was checking her out, she was doing the same thing to his body. Standing up and showing off his six-pack, he playfully teased her for looking. Qingyan shyly averted her eyes in turn. She might be wearing a daring swimsuit, but she's still that shy lady inside. Now that she's showing her body off in a bikini, her promise should be considered paid full. At the edge of the pool and started working his magic. He dragged Qingyan to the water to play. She started panicking and clinging onto Yi tightly as she couldn't actually swim. Yi assured her that she would be fine as long as they were together. He could also teach her how to swim breaststroke, backstroke, and everything in between. She turned to him, afraid of drowning. He calmed her down effectively in the middle of the water. Miss President is really afraid of sinking in the pool. She's clamping around his waist so tightly that he can't even move properly. Next came the swimming tutorial as Yi gently eased her into floating on her own. When she finally got the hang of it, one wrong move made her panic and lose balance. The middle of the pool was quite deep, and Yi had to dive down to rescue the drowning lady. He dragged her onto the surface while their lips were locked together. With him by her side, the water doesn't seem so scary anymore. Caught in the moment, Yi made his move, and Qingyan welcomed him with passion, but reminded him to be gentle. That day, the water of the mineral water pool had been exposed to some sticky foreign substances. After the swim session, Yi asked permission to borrow Qingyan's phone, and she readily agreed. She even gave him the password. Who would have thought that Ling Wei would appear once again to reward him with 100,000 proficiency points, reaching a 75% completion degree, and the ownership of Wangjiang Pier? He must have heard wrong, right? Wangjiang is the second biggest pier in the country. Ling Wei joyfully asserted that he really got Wangjiang under his name from now on. According to his career progress, activating the next profession in advance won't be too difficult. Qingyan finally finished her shower and playfully told Yi that he sucks at teaching swimming techniques. Still, the door to his swimming tutorial is always open for Miss President. Today is also special as he had the quilt and pillow he used to sleep on in the orphanage delivered. Qingyan wanted to know more about him and his life as an orphan. As far back as he could remember, Yi never had parents. But at this point in his life, that fact doesn't make him sad anymore. Miss Wang from the orphanage has taken care of him like a son, and he grew up with a lot of orphan friends. Qingyan and Yi definitely grew a little closer tonight, but tomorrow's a long one with her grandpa's birthday. They're going to need some rest. Lin Yi just needs to drive Qingyan to the office a few more times, and his mission will be accomplished soon. Lin Yi and Ji Qingyan slept on the same bed that night. He was woken up by a surprise call from Miss Wang asking if he broke up with Liu Cixi. Realizing what's happening, he assured Miss Wang that he knows what he's doing. But now that he's single, Miss Wang wants to introduce a friend's daughter about his age. He promised to go to the matchmaking meeting at 9 a.m. at Tianyue Tea House and to visit Miss Wang when he becomes free. I can't believe that Liu Cixi, the witch, went as far as contacting Miss Wang. The next day's first stop is the tea house to meet a girl named Sung Wenhui. On the third floor, he met Sung Wei's entire family, her mother, brother, and aunts. Right from the jump, Yi already felt bad vibes. When asked if he works for a real estate company, he casually fessed up that he was fired recently. He was asked if he was unemployed and truthfully answered that he was a baba driver. Wenhui's mother felt infuriated, but the girl wanted to hear Yi out on account of his handsome face. Wenhui works at a bank, so her mother wants her would-be husband to buy a 100-square-meter house in Zhonghai. Wenhui thinks that this is non-negotiable. Yi was amused by the family's delusion and asked for any other requirements. The mother demanded 88,000 for the bride price as it's a lucky number. Yi's gotten ultra-wealthy, but hearing such thick-skinned demands made him spit his tea. She was basically selling her daughter. The brother chimed in and demanded an imported car costing more than 80,000. Yi smacked the table and refused to give in to their expensive demands. The mother believed that their demands were reasonable, as relying on the family would make it worth it. Hearting that, Yi brought up his dead parents and asked them if he should rely on their corpses. The brother found it fitting to add that the orphanage will be demolished soon, and when the land is sold, Yi will get a decent chunk of cash. Lin Yi splashed hot tea all over the Sung family now that their aim to profit from the orphanage is out in the open. With a grave tone, he warned them for deceiving Miss Wang. While the Sung family was in chaos, Yi strolled out of the tea house. The brother felt salty. He took a potted plant and aimed at Lin Yi below. As Yi walks to his car, the dumbass brother tosses the potted plant. It missed Lin Yi by a small margin. He looked up and saw the brother yapping threats of harming him. Yi asked the reckless young man about the consequences of what he did. The flower did not hit Lin Yi, but it left a scratch on his luxury car. Sung family would have to cough up money for repairs. The whole crooked family hurried down to the parking lot. Y estimated that the cost of repainting would be about 300,000 and that he would accept any payment method. Wenhui interjected, changing her tone to a gentler one. Her eyes twinkled with dollar signs as she apologized for her brother's rash actions. She expressed her desire to go through with their relationship no matter what. Yi tossed that thought away and threatened to sue the family if he didn't get his 300,000 soon. Once he made his exit, Mother Sung blamed her daughter for missing the opportunity to win such a rich man's heart. The brother then saddled her with the bill, saying that it was all her fault. In the span of their argument, Lin Yi had already reached his new business, the Wangjiang Pier. He wasn't expecting a massive crowd of people and luxury cars parked around the area. Some dirty old man named Mr. Miao is consoling a young lady who just broke his boat seat. This is Mr. Miao, the manager of the operations department on the pier. He explained that the leather seat is costly, but she would gladly pay for the damage using her body. Lin Yi interrupted their dirty moment, demanding payment for the boat's damage. He owns these things now, after all. Both the young lady and the dirty old man told him to piss off. Yi took note of the old man and determined that Mr. Miao would pay for it in some way. Yi entered the office building and asked to see manager Bisong Jiang. He was escorted to the conference room, and Mr. B welcomed him alongside the pier's executives. The only one missing is the manager of operations, that old man Miao. Yi sat down and declared that the meeting won't start until the old fart shows up. 5 minutes later, Miao came to the room looking like crap while wearing a fake smile. He looked at the head of the table and knew right away that Yi was the new chairman. Mr. Miao got on his knees and begged for one more chance, but Yi just waited for the old fart so he could have him thrown out by the security team. Disrespecting the new chairman on his first day is not a great career move at all. Yi addressed the room full of executives with the idea of upgrading the entire pier. He will be relying on everyone to come up with a plan. They might be the second largest pier in the country, but Yi does not like being second place. He wants to make Wangjiang the biggest and most prominent pier in the world. He would gladly raise the money needed for the upgrades. The floor staff will get a 20% pay bump, and all executives will get 10%. That promise was certainly enough to get these executives foaming at the mouth to perform. After the meeting, he checked his inbox and saw that the painting he got for 80 million just arrived. Then, the watch he ordered 3 days ago is now ready to be received. He'll have to pick up the painting and attend the birthday party, so now's not a good time to get the watch. To make matters worse, the item is so valuable that Yi will have to sign for it himself. So, he just sent the 175th anniversary limited edition timepiece to the party at Donghu Villa. Surely that won't cause trouble, right? Lin arrived at Donghu Villa and met Qing, who was dressed boldly. Then they entered the villa for the celebration, where others commented on Qing's beauty and wondered who accompanied her. Qing apologized to Grandpa Yang for being late, and he replied graciously. He asked to be introduced to her boyfriend. Tian explained that Lin was the driver and falsely claimed he owned a sports car. Qing assured everyone to trust that Lin was experienced. However, Tian's friends still doubted Qing. Tianxin introduced her boyfriend Zheng, who worked for the same company as Lin. Zheng mentioned the company's new luxury car and promised to investigate further. Grandpa became angry and demanded Qing to make Lin leave. Suddenly a car arrived, and 2 people presented Lin with a limited edition rare watch worth $3,000. Others were shocked by its value. Grandpa then asked Tianxin to apologize to Lin. Another girl criticized Lin for not siding with Qing and insisted that he should have given the watch to Grandpa as a gift instead. Tianxin agreed and revealed that Zheng had been courting the girl for a month. Zheng presented the gift, an antique set of bronze coins from the Qing dynasty, valued at around $300,000. Tianxin and the other girl criticized Qing, pointing out that despite her boyfriend's wealth, he hadn't spent any money on the gift. Qing then presented her gift to Grandpa, who complimented its quality. Tianxin remarked that it seemed like a cheap item, but Grandpa replied that the thought behind the gift mattered more than its price. Lin told Qing that she didn't need to lie, as he was the one who had prepared the gift for Grandpa. Qing asked how he could say such a thing. Lin said that he had already prepared a gift for Grandpa, so he handed over the gift scroll to Grandpa, saying that it would be bad if he came without any gift. The gift was a rare piece of art, the Peach Blossom Forest, worth $30,000, which shocked a man there. Tianxin wondered if it was really worth that much. Grandpa explained the history of the painting. Zheng revealed that the owner of the art had refused an offer of $33,000, so the painting Lin gave must be a fake. Tian blamed Lin for the fake painting. Qing trusted that Lin wouldn't do such a thing. Zheng tore the painting, stating he had once seen it at Cheng's house. According to the rules, they had to destroy the fake one. Qing was furious upon hearing this. Lin calmed her down and disqualified Zheng from the Baba company. Zheng asked who Lin was to expel him from the company. Lin revealed that he owned a 20% share of the Baba company. Qing didn't believe this and asked him to stop worrying Zheng. Lin asked Zheng to call Cheng to confirm if it was true. Zheng agreed and put the call on speaker so everyone could hear. As Cheng picked up the call, Zheng asked if he knew Lin. Cheng confirmed, instructing Zheng to show respect to Lin. Otherwise, he would be disqualified from the company, and Lin actually held a 21% share in the company. Zheng told Lin he had met, that Lin had 20% shares. Zheng replied that Lin had made a deal for 1% in exchange for the rare painting. Zheng was shocked to hear this. Again, Lin stated that Zheng was disqualified. Tianxin asked them not to spoil the mood of Grandpa's birthday party. A second girl asked Lin if he couldn't do it for Qing's sake. Lin replied he would do whatever Qing asked, but they weren't allowed to talk to him like that. Grandpa was shocked, holding the torn rare painting. Lin ordered Zheng to pay for it. Zheng apologized, but Lin warned him he would call the police. After that, Zheng asked Tianxin for help. She got angry at him as well and broke up with him, refusing to help. He begged her not to leave him. Lin told Zheng to get up because Tianxin wasn't worth it for him. After that, Lin asked Mr. Ji to talk alone, so he asked Ji to order everyone else to leave. Mr. I, Ji agreed with that. As the family gathered with Lin, he revealed that he wanted to talk about Tianxin. He then asked if she had driven his car to the Peninsula Grand Hotel the previous day. She agreed and explained her reason, asking if he had any problem with it. He denied having a problem, but revealed that there were some strange toys she brought and that she met 2 foreign men. She was shocked upon hearing that. Lin said he had a few videos that he would transfer to Ching later, and that there wouldn't be any evidence if she had done it in a private area, but it seemed she did it in public. He showed the video to Grandpa. Tianxin begged for forgiveness, but Grandpa ignored her and slapped her. Tianxin's mother asked them to wait, but Mr. G pointed out that if Lin made the video public, their family would be disgraced. Lin said it wouldn't be appropriate for him to stay, so he decided to leave. Lin and Ching left the villa together. She thanked him, mentioning the expensive gift. He replied that it was a shame it got torn and that he wouldn't stand by and watch them bully her. After that, he left. After that, he thought about grabbing something to eat after completing the mission of driving the Baba Company car. He received an order from Yuan. Yuan was standing there when Rui arrived and offered to give her a ride in his BMW. She declined, saying she was waiting for a cab. Then Lin arrived in his supercar, asking if she had booked a cab and mentioning he had come to pick her up. Rui was shocked to see the cab, and Yuan told him not to follow her. They left, and Yuan complimented Lin's car. He finally dropped her off, and she blushed as she asked for his number and whether he believed in love at first sight. He told her not to say that to anyone else. As he was leaving, Wen called him, asking for a ride to the office the next day. He joked, asking if she wanted to give him the money she had received. Wen said he could make such a joke with his family, and since they were testing him, he passed, and they were now in a relationship. He then asked her to give him his 300,000, stating he wouldn't leave a single penny. After that, the scene shifts to Tianyi Homes, where a girl was standing on the footpath and saw Lin with his car. He offered her a lift, asking if she was going to the Zhonghai International Circuit. She agreed, mentioning that there was an event there and she had a chance to participate. She then gave him some fruits she had. As they reached the Zhonghai International Circuit, Lin said he wanted to watch the event with her as well. They found two people looking aggressive towards each other. The girl asked them what had happened. She told Lin that those were Ren and Sui, popular streamers on Douyu, and she inquired about the situation. Sui explained that Ren wanted to drive them away. Ren denied it, saying there was only room for one live streamer. The girl suggested that the area was big enough for all three of them to stream. Sui said that Ren had been influenced by Chin's associates and wanted to leave them. The girl approached and told Ren they had entry cards and that Chin was waiting for them. Teasingly, Ren walked inside while Sui appeared very angry. The girl with Lin asked Sui to calm down because they couldn't do anything as long as Chin was with Ren. Lin intervened and told them to go ahead with the livestream. Ren warned Lin that he would be in trouble if Chin showed up. Lin confidently asked them to bring Chin there. The girl asked Lin to calm down and not to provoke them. Lin assured her that he would make sure they could do the livestream. Sui asked Shin about Lin's background. She replied that she didn't know, but she believed he would handle it. So, Sui decided to follow Lin as well. Ren commented that it would be embarrassing if they got thrown out. They entered and saw many luxury cars preparing to do the livestream. Sui asked if Lin was sure they could proceed. Lin agreed, promising to manage everything. Then Xinyi, Chin, and Ren arrived. Ren told Chin and Xinyi that it was her exclusive livestream, but those two had interfered. She pointed towards Lin, calling him arrogant. Zhou greeted Lin, and Chin asked how Lin was doing. Ren, shocked, asked if they knew that arrogant boy. Xin revealed that Lin was the owner of the Zhonghai International Circuit. Ren was stunned upon hearing that. Lin asked Chin if he knew Ren, who had been rude to him. Chin replied that he had just kicked her out. Ren pleaded not to do that to her, saying her career would end if she didn't do this. Chin acknowledged that Lin hadn't informed him about her until it was too late and asked the guards to remove her. Chin asked if the girl was with Lin and suggested introducing him to foreign girls. Lin denied it and placed his hand on a black car, indicating that Chin was a better match for those girls. Sun wondered who Lin was to dare mock Chin. Chin explained that the car was the newest model and proposed a race with it. Lin agreed, noting that his skills had also improved. They each took a car, and Sun and Jinyu live-streamed the event. Chin had the blue car and suggested making a bet to make it more exciting. He explained the rules of the prize for the winner, which Lin agreed to. The race began, and Lin finished first. Chin admitted that despite training hard for several days, Lin had won. He then gave Lin 330,000 yen as the bet amount. Lin gave the money to Zhou, asking him to fix the scratch on the car. Zhou agreed and took the money. Lin told Sun and Xinyu that if they needed anything, they could contact Zhou. Chin approached Lin, putting his hand on Lin's shoulder as a friend and asked if Lin had fun being a Baba driver with Xinyu. Lin replied he would be happy if Chin joined them sometime. Chin declined and started to explain why, but Lin interrupted and left. Lin realized he only had to finish 3 more orders before he could go back for dinner. He ran into Miss Liu and commented that she was closing the shop early, and he had been thinking about having fried rice since it had been a while. She replied that Jing would be arriving soon, and Liu would reopen after picking Jing up. Lin then ordered his meal, asking for ham to be added. Miss Liu agreed, and Lin left for the school to pick up Jing.